Meet Robert. He's a smart guy, a retired structural engineer who planned his retirement down to the penny. When he turned 62 last year, he did what millions of Americans do. He logged onto the government website and claimed his Social Security early. His full benefit would have been $2,500 a month if he waited until 67, but by filing early, he accepted a permanent 30% reduction, leaving him with a monthly check of $1,750. He thought he was locked in for life. But within months, property taxes jumped, inflation soared, and Robert realized he had made a massive mistake that was going to cost him his lifestyle. What he didn't know, and what 99% of retirees have absolutely no clue about, is that the system has a hidden escape hatch. It is a legal, completely official government do-over button that lets you completely erase your early filing penalty and reset your checks to their maximum potential. If you want to know exactly how to trigger this loophole before your deadline runs out, hit subscribe and turn on the bell. Social Security rules, loophole deadlines, and benefit procedures change every single year. When they change, nobody from the government explains how to reverse a massive financial mistake or how to save your retirement after you have already signed the paperwork. That is exactly what this channel does. Now let's look at the exact document Robert used to fix his mistake. This strategy revolves around a specific government document called Form SSA-521, officially known as a request for withdrawal of application. You will not see this form advertised on television, and you almost certainly will not hear a government clerk bring it up unless you specifically ask for it by name. To understand why this form is so powerful, you have to understand how Social Security views your retirement decision. When you claim early, you are making a binding contract. The government agrees to pay you earlier, but in exchange, they penalize you every single month for the rest of your life. For someone like Robert, that 30% penalty does not just hurt today, it compounds over time. Every cost of living adjustment, every inflation bump is calculated based on that smaller foundational number. If Robert lives into his mid-80s, that single decision at age 62 could easily cost him over $100,000 in lost lifetime income. That is a terrifying amount of money to leave on the table simply because of panic or a slight miscalculation. But Form SSA-521 changes the rules of the game. Filing this form tells the government that you have changed your mind. You are legally withdrawing your application for benefits. If approved, the administration treats your record as if you had never filed in the first place. Your early claiming penalty is entirely erased. Your benefit amount is free to start growing again, gaining those crucial delayed retirement credits up to 8% per year until it reaches its absolute maximum at age 70. It is the ultimate financial time machine. But as you might expect when dealing with massive government bureaucracies and hundreds of thousands of dollars, this time machine comes with a very serious catch. You cannot just casually decide to undo your retirement years down the road when you feel like it. The Social Security Administration has put 3 rigid, uncompromising rules in place to prevent people from abusing this system. If you want to pull this off, you have to navigate these rules perfectly. The first rule is the time limit, and it is the reason why urgency is everything. You only have 12 months from the exact date your benefits were first approved to file Form SSA-521. This is a hard deadline. It is not 12 months from the end of the year, and it is not 12 months from when you decide you made a mistake. It is exactly 1 year from your approval date. If you wake up on day 366 and realize your checks are too small, this specific door is slammed shut forever. This 12-month window is designed for people like Robert, people who claimed early out of fear or temporary necessity, but quickly realized within their first year of retirement that they made a miscalculation. Maybe they inherited some money, maybe they decided to go back to work because they were bored, or maybe they simply sat down with a calculator and realized the math of early claiming was destroying their long-term security. Whatever the reason, you have to act fast. The second rule is the most daunting one, and it is the step where most people get scared away. The government will gladly let you wipe your slate clean and reset your benefits, but they are not going to let you keep the money they already gave you. You have to pay back every single penny. It is like putting toothpaste back into the tube. But here is the critical detail that catches even smart people off guard. You do not just pay back the amount that was deposited into your bank account. You have to pay back the gross amount. Let us look at Robert again. For 11 months, his gross benefit was $1,750, but his actual bank deposit was smaller because the government was deducting his Medicare Part B premiums directly from his check. Let us say those premiums were around $175 a month. That means Robert was only seeing $1,575 hit his checking account. When he files his withdrawal application, he cannot just write a check for the money he actually received. He has to write a check for the full gross amount, which includes reimbursing the system for all those Medicare premiums, any voluntary tax withholdings he might have set up, and even garnishments if he had any. For Robert, 11 months multiplied by his gross benefit of $1,750 means he has to write a single lump sum check for $19,250. And the repayment rule goes even deeper than your own pockets. If anyone else in your family is claiming benefits based on your earning record, they have to pay their money back too. Let us say Robert had a younger wife who was collecting a spousal benefit off of his record during those same 11 months. In order for Robert to reset his own benefits, his wife also has to agree in writing to the withdrawal, and every single dollar she received as a spousal benefit must also be repaid in full. If you cannot afford to pay back the gross amount, plus the Medicare deductions, plus the taxes, plus any spousal benefits, the government will deny your request, and you will remain locked into your reduced payments for life. The third rule is simple but absolute. This is a one-time offer. You get exactly one do-over in your lifetime. If you file the paperwork, write the massive repayment check, and reset your benefits, you can certainly reapply for Social Security a few years later when you are older. But if you change your mind a second time, you are out of luck. The government will not let you use the withdrawal strategy again. It is a one-and-done emergency cord. So what happens if you are listening to this and your heart sinks because you claimed your benefits 3 years ago? You have missed the 12-month window. You are disqualified from using the withdrawal of application strategy. Are you completely doomed to suffer the permanent penalty? This brings us to the backup plan, a completely different strategy that operates under a different set of rules. It is not quite a time machine, but it is an incredibly powerful tool to stop the bleeding and force your checks to grow. And this strategy is called voluntary suspension. Voluntary suspension is designed for people who miss the one-year do-over window but still want to increase their future monthly payouts. Here's how it works. Once you reach your full retirement age, which is 67 for anyone born in 1960 or later, you have the legal right to ask the Social Security Administration to simply stop sending you checks. You tell them to pause your payments. Why would you ever ask the government to stop paying you? Because of a magical mechanism called delayed retirement credits. For every single month that you suspend your benefits between your full retirement age and age 70, your underlying benefit amount grows by 2/3 of 1%. That adds up to a guaranteed 8% return on your money every single year. Let us imagine a different version of Robert. Let us say he claimed at 62, but he did not realize his mistake until he was 65. The 12-month window for the full do-over is long gone. He feels stuck. He continues to collect his reduced checks of $1,750. But then his 67th birthday arrives. He has reached full retirement age. He contacts the administration and requests a voluntary suspension. Immediately, his monthly checks stop. But he does not have to pay back a single dime of the money he collected over the past 5 years. That money is his to keep. Instead, his benefit just sits there, frozen, but growing. He leaves it suspended for 3 years until he turns 70. Because of the 8% annual growth, his benefit increases by a total of 24%. When he turns his benefits back on at age 70, his monthly check jumps from $1,750 up to $2,170. He essentially manufactured over $400 of extra guaranteed monthly income for the rest of his life simply by utilizing the pause button at the correct time. Just like the full withdrawal strategy, voluntary suspension has its own strict nuances that you must plan around. The most critical factor is how it affects your family. When you voluntarily suspend your own retirement benefits, the government automatically suspends any secondary benefits that are being paid out based on your record. If your spouse is relying on a spousal benefit derived from your earnings, their checks will also stop completely during the exact same months your checks are paused. The only exception to this rule is for divorced spouses. If you have an ex-spouse claiming on your record, your decision to suspend will not interrupt their payments. But for your current household, a voluntary suspension means a complete halt to that income stream. You have to be absolutely certain you have enough outside savings, a pension, or part-time income to bridge the gap. During those years, your checks are paused. Furthermore, if you suspend your benefits, the government can no longer automatically deduct your Medicare Part B premiums from your checks. The premiums do not go away. You just become responsible for paying them directly out of pocket. If you forget to set up a direct payment plan for your Medicare premiums while your Social Security is suspended, you could find yourself unexpectedly losing your health coverage, which is a disaster no senior should ever face. Both of these strategies, the full withdrawal of application within the first 12 months and the voluntary suspension at full retirement age, are deeply complex maneuvers. They require you to look brutally honestly at your life expectancy, your current cash reserves, and your tax situation. But they prove one fundamental truth about retirement planning. The system is not a black box that you are entirely helpless against. Yes, the rules are bureaucratic, and yes, the penalties for ignorance are severe. But the tools exist to course correct. Whether you are 11 months into retirement and realizing you need to hit the emergency reset button, or you are approaching full retirement age and looking for a way to give your fixed income a massive final boost, the power is actually in your hands. You just have to know the forms to ask for, the deadlines to respect, and the exact mathematical cost of changing your mind. It is your money, your history of hard work, and your future. Take the time to run your own numbers. Sit down with a fiduciary if you need to, and never assume that your first decision has to be your final one. Send this video to one person you love who claimed their Social Security early or is approaching retirement right now. One share takes 10 seconds. Also, please hit that like button so the algorithm shows this to other seniors who might be trapped with smaller checks. If they are regretting their decision, finding out about this legal do-over option or the suspension strategy could put hundreds of dollars a month back into their household permanently. Money the government will keep unless someone tells them which form to use. That is what this channel is here to do. I will see you in the next one.